So what exactly is the big deal anyway? Why do teachers need to worry about any of this stuff? Well, as teachers, we are stepping into classrooms that have an incredible variety of students. Each student is unique, and we cannot simply plan a one-size-fits-all lesson to give to 30 students. How are we as teachers supposed to do this? How do we teach the information to the students in a way that everyone will understand? An incredible method that many teachers are using is known as differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is exactly how it sounds. We as teachers differentiate the instruction we plan to give to the class for each student. Teachers can differentiate their instruction 4 different ways. They can differentiate the content, which is what the student needs to learn or how the student will get that information. An example is using reading materials at varying readability levels. A second way to differentiate the instruction involves the process, which is the activities in which the student engages in order to make sense of or master the content. Another example of process is to offer manipulatives or other hands-on supports for the students. A third option of differentiation involves the products, or the culminating projects that ask the students to rehearse, apply, and extend what he or she has learned. An example here is giving students the option of how they wish to express their learning. A final place to differentiate the instruction is the learning environment itself. One example here is to make sure there are places in the room to work quietly without distraction. There are also 4 important features of differentiated instruction that we must understand as well. The first is flexible learning groups. This means the way we group the students needs to be flexible according to specific tasks and needs. A second feature involves choice. Students should have the opportunity to make choices based on their learning preferences. They should also be able to have the choice of working in a preferred environment for learning. A third feature is respectful tasks. This means that all choices and tasks are interesting and engaging. Finally, the last feature is shared responsibility for learning. Students should have the opportunity to think or talk about or identify the ways they learn best. Students need to be taught how to self-assess and advocate for conditions that support their learning. So how exactly do we differentiate the instruction in our classrooms? We first look at the lesson plans we have to know what we are teaching. We then make sure we know our students. By knowing our students, we can know their individual needs. Based on our knowledge of the students, we can fit the instruction of the lesson plan to fit the needs of our students. In order to better understand differentiated instruction, let us look at a lesson plan on classification. To begin the lesson, the class will define classification and discuss ways of classification that is used in their everyday lives. As a class, they would make a list on the board of examples that students think of. Next, each group will receive a packet of pre-named leaves. The students in their groups will then create a classification system for the leaves they have in their packet and write it down. Some groups will share their classification systems with the class. Finally, the students will classify the leaves they have with an actual existing classification system. Now, how do we differentiate this lesson for our students? First, we have Jennifer. She is incredibly smart and very comfortable giving oral presentations, but she has trouble with her writing. Jennifer has dysgraphia. Her teacher gives her an outline of the material to reduce the amount of writing she needs to do during class, and also will give her additional time to fill in her notes. In addition to the outline, her teacher has made arrangements with another student to act as her primary note taker. Without the stress of having to take notes during class, Jennifer is able to better pay attention to what is happening and be more involved. Finally, she is assigned to be the one to orally present her group's classification system to the class. Next, we have Austin. Austin is one of the more brilliant students in the class and very friendly with his peers, but due to a car accident, he sustained an injury to his brain that has caused partial vision loss in both eyes. In order to help him see better, his teacher uses a large and neat font to project the classification ideas on the board during the class discussion. His teacher has also made sure to have all the important rules and information on the walls around the room be put in large enough fonts for him to see what he needs to. He also receives an outline of the classification materials before the lesson so that he may follow along without any hassle for him. Our next student is Mark. Mark is brilliant in math and science, but he still struggles to pay attention and keep on task. Mark was diagnosed with ADHD 2 years ago. To help him stay focused, his teachers allow him extra time to evaluate the leaves and classification systems so that he may take small breaks if he needs to. He is also given space to work that has limited distractions. This seems to really help keep him involved with what is currently going on. His teacher also has put him in a group with a small number of students to avoid possible distractions. By knowing our students, we can better understand their needs. When we differentiate the instructions to fit those needs, these students are able to find success they might otherwise have missed out on. Every student is capable of doing well and succeeding. It is our job as teachers to help them achieve that. Differentiating instruction is the key to finding student success.
Created using Powtoon.